Hi everyone, welcome to a recording of the lesson for Year 4, Block 5, Week 4. So we're going to go through now the lesson content. We'll explain what we've done and hopefully this is something, if you were unable to attend the lesson, you can follow at home. So just having a look at the lesson plan, we will start with a spelling test. We will then go through the mental maths test that was completed in this week, and then we'll be having a look inside the CGP verbal reasoning book and going through various different questions, talking about the techniques as well. So there's just a copy of the lesson, just so you're clear about the pages and the tasks that need to be completed, and of course there'll be homework that will correspond to the lesson as well. So let's firstly start off with the spellings. So what I've done is I've covered up the week spellings that we need to cover, and then I will just call out those words. You could have a go then in your spelling book at home and just write those words down. At the end then we'll reveal them. You can obviously mark them and see how you got on. So this week the focus was on antonyms. So it's test 3, antonyms, and I'm going to start reading those words out now. So number 1, if you could write down the word overweight. So plump, overweight. Number 2 is the word gaunt. And just to explain what gaunt means sort of if you see someone who's quite maybe thin in the face or a little bit frail, they might look a little bit gaunt. So that's the opposite, of course, of overweight. So write the word gaunt. Number 3 is the word crude, and if you think of substance like oil when it comes out of the ground, if it's unprocessed, like petroleum, then that would be crude oil, generally quite thick. And number 4, the opposite of crude, is refined, and that is when it is processed and turned into things like petrol and diesel and things like that. Number 5, write the word optimistic. If you're eager and keen and you're positive, you're optimistic. Number 6, the opposite of optimistic, is pessimistic. So being a little bit negative about things, not looking on the bright side, pessimistic. Now that word was actually highlighted, so it could be one you could put in your word and meaning book if you didn't know what it meant. Write a little definition down. Number 7 is the word jagged. If we think of jagged rocks, sharp and pointy. Number 8 is smooth. That's of course the opposite of jagged. And then number 9, we've got onerous. Onerous being something that's hard and difficult. And then the final word to write down is the word simple. And that of course means easy and is the opposite of onerous. Onerous was also highlighted, so another word maybe to put into your word and meaning book to mean hard or difficult. Right, so what we're going to do now is just reveal those words. Hopefully you've had, had an opportunity to write those down. There we go. So those are all the words. See how you got on out of 10. Now what you can do if you didn't attend the lesson, let your tutor know. If you did manage to get 10 out of 10, you can certainly ask for some tokens for that. Right, let's move on now to the next task, and that is, of course, your mental arithmetic test. So the mental arithmetic test that we need to be looking at is Block 5, Test 4. And we're going to go through the questions now. As you know, it's sort of 5 seconds for the first ones, and then of course it's 10 seconds for the last ones. One fairly sizable change is that most weeks we have 15 questions. This week we're actually going to have 20. So I'll read every question twice and then give you a certain amount of time, of course, to answer them. So number 1, write the number 7,604. Number 1, write the number 7,604. Number 2, what is 2, 7 and 8 and 6 all together? What is 2, 7, 8 and 6 all together? Number 3. How many less than 68 is 42? How many less than 68 is 42? Number 4. Make the smallest number you can from 4, 3, 6 and 1. Make the smallest number you can from 4, 3, 6 and 1. Number 5. Round 605 centimetres to the nearest 100 centimetres. Round 605 centimetres to the nearest 100 centimetres. Number 6. James's dad bought 9 packets of party poppers. Each box contains 8 party poppers. How many party poppers are there altogether? James's dad bought 9 packets of party poppers. Each box contains 8 party poppers. How many party poppers are there altogether? Question 7. A computer disc costs 90p. What do 10 discs cost? A computer disc costs 90 pence. What do 10 discs cost? Number 8. Write the correct sign or symbol greater than or less than in the empty box. On the answer sheet is a scale. Write the number shown by the arrow. On your sheet is a scale. Write the number shown by the arrow. Number 10. Double 600. Double 600. Okay, for the next questions you're going to have slightly longer, so sort of nearer 10 seconds for these. I'll try and judge it so you get a little bit longer. Let's start with number 11. Alex has 38 comics. Lisa has 35 comics. How many have they all together? Alex has 38 comics. Lisa has 35 comics. How many have they all together? Playtime starts at 10:40 a.m. and finishes at 11 a.m. How long is playtime? Question 12. Playtime starts at 10:40 a.m. finishes at 11 a.m. How long is playtime? Question 13. A coach journey to Bradford was 351 kilometres. How many kilometres did the coach travel in 10 journeys? A coach journey to Bradford was 351 kilometres. How many kilometres did the coach travel in 10 journeys? Question 14. There are 32 children in a class. How many children are there in 3 classes? There are 32 children in a class. How many children are there in 3 classes? Question 15. There are 14 pencils in a box. How many pencils are there in 5 boxes? There are 14 pencils in a box. How many pencils are there in 5 boxes? Question 16. From Wigan to Stoke and back is 150 miles. How far is it from Wigan to Stoke? From Wigan to Stoke and back is 150 miles. How far is it from Wigan to Stoke? Question 17. Share 9 dog biscuits between 2 dogs. How many does each dog get? share 9 dog biscuits between 2 dogs. How many does each dog get? Question 18. If I'm facing south and I turn anti-clockwise through half a right angle, in what direction am I facing? If I'm facing south and I turn anti-clockwise through half a right angle, in what direction am I facing? Question 19. Write one number that is a multiple of 2 and also a multiple of 3. Write one number that is a multiple of 2 and also a multiple of 3. Question 20. I mix 600 millilitres of orange juice with 900 millilitres of lemonade. How much drink have I made all together? Okay, what we're going to do now is just go through the answers for those questions. So we're just going to write them in the boxes so you can check them yourselves. So the first one, write the number 7,604. So 7,604, making sure you've got the placeholder in the tens column. What is 2, 7, 8 and 6 all together? If you add them all up, it's 23. I would certainly put 8 and 2 together to make 10, 7 and 6 to make 13 and add them together. That's probably the easiest way. How many less than 68 is 42? Well, of course, it's 26. You could use adding up from 42 to get to 68 if you want to. Use addition. It's another way of doing subtraction, but also double checking that 42 and 26 make the total of 68. Make the smallest number you can from 4, 3, 6 and 1. So it's 1,346. Number 5, we've got round 605 centimetres, nearest 100 centimetres, of course, is 600. That's to the nearest 100 centimetres, of course, we're rounding it down. Number 6, we've got to multiply 9 by 8 to get a 72. That's the number of party poppers. Number 7, it's going to cost me £9 to have 10 discs at 90 pence each. Number 8, we're looking at the symbol to go that way. So it reads as 8,761 is greater than 2,163, because of course the bigger part of the greater than symbol is facing 8, 7, 6 and 1. Number 9, we're looking at 5.8, because if you add up the number of divisions, each division stands for 0.1 or 1/10. So 5.8 for that one. Double 600, we should have had 1,200. Moving on then to number 11, how many in total in terms of comics? You should have put 73 down. Then how long is playtime? Of course it's 20 minutes long. You can put 20 mins if you want. Would allow 20 as well. But 13, talking about total distance in terms of kilometres, 3,510 kilometres, because that would be times 10, because 351 kilometres related to one journey. How many children in 3 classes if 32 are in each one? We'd have 96 children. Sometimes it's useful, and Billy recommends this, if you just put the operation, you can always come back to it if you're not quite sure. So, you know, just putting addition or multiplication or take away can really help, because it's quite quick and it goes on to the next question, you can always come back and maybe do those again. So 70 is the answer there. 75 miles is half the journey. The total from Wigan to Stoke and back is 150, so you need a half 150. So again, you could just put divide by 2 if you need to come back. Now, this one I know caught some children out in the actual lesson. We have to share 9 dog biscuits between 2 dogs. Well, you can halve the biscuits, so it would be 4.5 per dog. If you put 4.5, that's also okay. Okay, or 4.5. If I'm facing south and I turn anti-clockwise through half a right angle, in what direction am I facing? It would be southeast. You could even draw out your compass points if that helps you. And it's really important, of course, you go anti-clockwise as well on that particular question. Number 19, there could be multiple answers here, so I'll just give you some. You could have 6, that's a multiple of 2 and 3. You could have 12, you could have 18, as long as it's in the 2 and the 3 times table, not one or the other. It's got to be both. 20, we're looking at 1500 millilitres. You said kilometres then. Millilitres, or 1.5 litres. So we'd allow either of those. Doesn't say the answer has to be in millilitres. So well done if you managed to get 20 out of 20 in your Mentor Arithmetic test this week. And I look forward to, of course, doing the one for test 5 next week. Right, moving further on now into your CGP book. So we're going to have a look at the questions inside this book now. And we're going to be doing test 16. So I'm just going to make sure I've got the relevant book as well ready, so we can have a little look at those questions together. So test 16 you need to look at, and hopefully you've completed this test now, because what we're going to do is we're going to go through the answers together, talk about how to achieve the answers, and explain how to do the questions. So first thing we have to do is find the 2 words that should be swapped in order for each sentence to make sense. Underline both words. Now the approach here is first of all to read it as it's written. So here, I dishes the washed. And you think, well, okay, what am I going to need? I'm going to need a verb there. So I did what? I washed, and of course I washed the dishes. So those 2 words have to swap over in order for the sentence to make sense. So I would always read it as it's written, then your brain will work out, oh yes, that's what it should logically say. So if we look at number 1, Harriet went last sailing week. Harriet went sailing last week. So if we swap last and sailing over, those are the 2 words we need to underline, it'll make sense. I 2 for paid ice creams. I paid for 2 ice creams. 2 and paid need to swap over. Number 3, Chinese is a language hard to learn. Doesn't quite make sense, but if we say Chinese is a hard language to learn, that should make sense, because Chinese is a language hard to learn. It doesn't grammatically quite make sense. Number 4, my hair has curly sister, but we need to swap over hair and of course sister, and that will of course make sense. Moving on now to the next set of questions. These are compound words, so we need to work out which word comes after the word on the left. I know sometimes it will say before, so just underline maybe that word after, just so you're clear. And the compound words are outgrow. I've outgrown my clothes, or I've outgrown my shoes. Number 6, we've got the word up, and that goes with per, and that makes the word upper, so upper as in the upper level of something. Number 7, we've got sweet. What does that go with? That's going to go with the word corn. So we've got sweet corn. And then number 8, we've got homework. So all compound words, and hopefully you've had a good opportunity to answer those. If you've obviously got them correct, give them a tick. If you get any wrong, maybe write that new word that you didn't quite know in your word and meaning book. Now, a little activity that we did during the lesson was actually to pair up some of these compound words. So we're going to very quickly do that now. And the way we did it is each child took it in turns to say one, dragging this one always comes first. So word 1 always comes first, then word 2. So let's see if we can do that quickly now. So cork, what are we going to put that with? It's going to go with corkscrew. Then we've got path, we've got pathway. If they don't go together, they won't jump up into the honeycomb. So we've got copy, right. We talked a little bit about that in the lesson, about what copyright means. So copyright enables, stops other people copying your work. If you've got copyright on it, stops any plagiarism. Then we've got fish cake. Then we've got zookeeper. Then we've got mouse and a trap. Go together, they're 2 words. Standby, you might put your TV on standby. Honey, honeymoon, often happens after weddings. People go off on a honeymoon. Worthwhile. And then outcome, as in the result, the outcome. So, some really quite useful compound words there, and we did very well to sort of match all of those up. Carrying on then into the test. What do we have to do here? We have to find the three-letter word hidden in the word in capitals. A clue is given in brackets. Write your answer on the line. So, number 9, we should have had the word car, because that's hidden inside scary. And of course it's a vehicle. And then move quickly, we've got ran. Ransom, so you can see ran in there, move quickly. Island as well, the word we're looking for there is and then scupper, for drinking we need a cup. So again, hopefully you've all managed to get those 4 words spotted, and then we move on to the last part of the test, and we need to find the word that rhymes with the word in brackets and has a similar in meaning to the clue in capitals. Write your answer again on the line. So we're going to go with 13, slender, we've got trim, and of course the answer is slim. Then we've got 14, body of water, rhymes with bake, and of course that is a lake. Number 15, a group of players, theme, and the answer should be team. And then glide on ice, and rhymes with date, and of course that is skate. So record your answers out of 16. There is a progress grid inside the back cover, and you can go to test 16 and write your score down. Right, we're going to move on now to test 32. And on test 32, we're going to first of all look at a series of code questions. Now, what we think probably is most beneficial here is if we explain how to do it, and then we'll give you the answers. These can be quite time consuming to do, so we're not going to be able to go through every single question here, but we can certainly explain the methodology. So, let's have a little look at the first question. If the code for trap is OMVK, what is the code for rink? Now, as you can see here, we've got the alphabet, which is used to help us, and each of the questions uses a different code. So we're going to need to use the alphabet to help work out the answer, and then record our answer on the line. Now, the really important thing here is to understand whether we're given a code or we're given a word. And in this instance here, we're given a word. So we're actually going to be working from word to code. So we're going to go from trap to OMVK, and then whatever the relationship is there, we'll apply it to rink. Now, what I might suggest here is you actually write the word above the code. So I'm going to write trap above OMVK, and then we're going to then work out how we get that code and apply the same rule. So we're going to go from T to O. The reason we're going from T to O, not O to T, is because we're given a word. So we must work, if you like, kind of in this instance, sort of down. So T to O, and what do we do to get from T to O is we count. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go minus 5. So therefore, we go R minus 5. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first letter of our code is going to be M. Then we go, of course, to the second letter. We go R to M. And if you look at R to M, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we've just done it, is exactly the same. So we go I, and then we're going to minus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second letter we get is D. Then we're going to go to A to V. Now, interestingly here, you'll see that we're going to have to jump, because we're not going to go A to V all the way up there. We're actually going to work from the other end of the alphabet. So I'm going to add on a few letters just to help me a little bit here. And then A to V is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. So it's always 5. N back 5. We'll start up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to need to have an I as our third letter. Then we're going to move from P to K, and it's also back 5. K back 5. So find K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have an F. So the first code is MDIF. Now, if your alphabet, this is why we suggest you use a pencil, if it gets a little bit messy, obviously rub it out. Okay, so you've got a new sort of alphabet to start with, and then you can start your counting. So I'm going to give you the answers now. So for this one, this was actually a code, and it's going to spell the word cat. So you must make sure, of course, you're going this time from code to word, otherwise you'll get a bit muddled. 3 is XEPP, that is the code for the word tool. And then we've got wolf, that's the word you should get out of SQHH. And then finally, you're going to get the word tram. Now, as I say, I'm sorry we didn't go through every single one, but as you can imagine, it would take a bit of time to sort of count all the letters. So hopefully you've got the answers there. You can double check. If you get any wrong, see if you can work out why. Did you go the wrong way on the alphabet? Was it just you just miscount the jumps? You can have a look at that again. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the next set of questions, 6 to 9, and work out how to make the word in the middle from the words on the outside. So, how do we make bag from big and way? Well, we take the two letters from big, B and G, and then we take the A. So we're going to do the same over here. We're going to take the C and the T, and then we're going to hopefully have a letter that goes in the middle to spell a word, which of course is cat. How do we make lag from lab and tog? Well, we take the first two letters and then the last letter. So we're going to do the same over here. We do these relatively quickly. And then we're going to look at how we make moon. So we take that first letter there, which was the L. So it was the M there, the double O. So it'll be the, let's have a little look here. It'll be the I and the O that we need to take out of riot. And then if we take the N from there, actually spell the word lion. Number 9, how do we make milk from film and bark? And we've got meek and burn. So we're going to take letters 4, 2 and 3. And then letter 4 from the second word. So if you like, that's sort of 8 if you like. I think we could probably look at it like that. So we're going to take the fourth letter, which of course is the K. Then 2 and 3 is going to be the E and the E. And finally the 8th letter is going to be the N, which is over here, to make keen. Quite like those ones. Sometimes they're a little bit tricky, but you just got to make sure it spells a word and you're taking the letters from the right side. Okay, if the code for head is 6352 and the code for sand is 1542, how do we work out the code for the following words? And the way I would do this, because if I actually write head directly above the code, and we're sort of lining them up, I suppose, to make sure that we don't make any mistakes, and we can easily start marrying up the codes with the right numbers and the letters. So, find the code for shed. So what's the S? Well, that's 1. H is 6. E is the 3. And the D is the 2. So I've got the code 1632. That should be a fairly simple mark. Then dash, again, got to look carefully. So the D is the 2, the A is the 5, the S is the 1, and the H is the 6. So it's 2516. And then what does this word spell? Must spell a word. So number 1 is S, 3 is an E, 4 is an N, and 2 is a D. So the word is send. So again, hopefully you managed to get all those correct. And then we finally on this test have got to look at the most similar in meaning. So we've got crucial and necessary, acquire and obtain, acquire something, gaining something, cab as in taxi, climb is ascend. Now, don't forget, if there are words within the questions that you don't know, so for example, if you didn't know what hail meant or navigate means, you can always look those words up as well, because it's not always just about the words that are within the questions, and sometimes I'll give you the answers. It's also about the words within the questions as well. So it's not just the words that are you're gaining as the answers, it's the words around it which we need you to learn as well. So again, write your score out of 16. You can always put your marks back in the score chart again. But thank you very much for doing that. Now, just a couple more things to go through with you. First of all, one of the games that we've played in class, which has been a really fun game to play. It's called Page Race. And the idea is that every child has a reading book, and then you choose a child to select a page number. Everyone turns to that page, and it's the first child to try and find a compound word within that page. Now, we've done this for hidden 4-letter words, but compound words was the focus. And I've just given you an example here of a page, because pretty much every page in a book will contain at least one compound word. So we've got word understand, we've got grandfather, before, protect, mankind, and hourglass. So I'm just proving really how many different compound words you can find on a page here. But have maybe a little bit of fun with your family. All of you grab a reading book and see who can be the first one to find compound words. You could do it for other words, first person to find an adverb or an adjective or a homophone. Lots of different ways of doing that, so hopefully you can give that a go. We did play a little game show at the end. This is a little bit more difficult to do in a recording, but that was good fun. Covered lots of different question types in there. We also remind children about the sheet that was recently given out to learn mirrored letters. That's really important, mirrored letters, so please do make sure you learn that. And also here, in regards to your homework, you'll need to be focusing on the week 4 tasks. That's the unit 7 and 8 in the Bond book, and then lots of little tests inside the CGP book. If you're able to do the You Could, even better. I'm sure the tutors will reward you for doing that, give you lots of tokens. So thank you very much for this particular session. Our next session will be on Monday the 12th of May, which is actually assessment week, which I know it will be for a lot of our students in year 4. Thank you very much for watching this video, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.